Welcome back to the channel, guys. We are back with another video. My name is Gordon. We are looking at the latest market update. Bitcoin running up again, over 119,000 at one point here in the past few minutes. Let's dive straight into it. As always, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon as well. Don't forget to grab your completely free copy of The Rise of Bitcoin, and let's jump in and see what's happening in the markets. So just like I was saying, it has been a nice few days in the market for Bitcoin's price action. If we take a quick measurement tool here, going back to these lows on the 26th of September, just 6 days ago, we're up almost 10% for Bitcoin's price action here over those past 6 days. And technically, this was a slightly higher low compared to the low that we had back here at the end of August. And so we've had a really nice bounce in the price of Bitcoin here over the past few days. Drawing in this very simple trend line here, what we're looking at is Bitcoin breaking above that level on the daily candle that closed here. And I am recording this on the evening of October 1st. This daily candle for the 1st of October closed about 2 hours ago. And you can see that upon close of that daily candle, we did see Bitcoin shoot up here, up as high as $119,400. And so breaking of this downtrend is looking pretty nice for Bitcoin's price action here. I was talking about this earlier today and thinking that if we were going to truly close up in this kind of $117,000 area, it was going to give us permission to push a little bit higher. We also managed to close above this key level of resistance, which you can see held pretty strongly back at the end of August. Once again here in the middle of September, and today's daily candle smashed through that, closed above it, and as you can see, we've started inching even higher from there. So this is looking pretty nice as a setup for Bitcoin here at this moment in time. Lots of other stuff happening in the background. We obviously have the closure of the government over in the US, the government shutdown happening as we speak. We don't know how long that's going to last, but we did also see the S&P moving higher given that sentiment today in the markets. Even with the closure and the shutdown of the government in the States, the S&P continued pushing higher, and so too did crypto, along with most of the rest of the risk on assets. Again, gold climbing to fresh all-time highs on today's daily candle as well. We pushed right up as high as $38.93 for the price of gold. And once again, guys, we've talked about this on the channel many, many times, but when gold makes a move just like this, Bitcoin will often follow very soon thereafter. If we do this and we add in the Bitcoin chart here in a new pane, you can kind of see how that is expressed here with the price action of gold and then how Bitcoin follows pretty shortly thereafter. I'm going to try and make this just a little bit bigger on the screen so you can see it, but you can kind of see when gold makes this kind of big move up here, Bitcoin was consolidating during that period as gold started to ramp up here from 2,200 all the way up to 2,800. And then by the time gold peaked out at 2,800 and started to correct a little bit, you actually saw Bitcoin making a run from 65,000 up to 103,000 during that period where gold was having a little bit of a correction and a consolidation period before once again having another big leg up here. Again, you can see big leg up between essentially January of this year and April of this year, and Bitcoin was retracing and correcting. And then after gold made that next big move from 2,600 all the way up to 3,400, it was gold's time to cool off and consolidate. And once again, as gold reached that peak and started to consolidate, that was the time where Bitcoin started to make its next leg up from 75 to 110 after having that correction in Q1. And so with gold making this move from 3,300 all the way up to 3,900, I think you're seeing the pattern I'm trying to explain here. We should see Bitcoin starting to make a move, and the move that we're seeing over the past few days could be the beginning of that very move. And so Bitcoin sitting at 118.7 right at the time of recording this video. Very interesting to see all of that playing out. M2 global monetary supply, that is the wrong indicator. M2 global money supply continuing to move to the upside here. It's been a very strong upwards trend for M2 over the past few months, and I think we're going to see Bitcoin playing catch up here over the next few weeks as we move into the bulk of October and Q4 getting kicked off with a pretty strong pretty strong start. If I go over here to Bitcoin monthly returns very, very quickly, we did in fact finish September up about 5%, which is pretty good for September. September often, historically speaking, is actually more of a red month compared to a green month. And it might not seem like September was that great, but remember, we did have that pullback right at the end of August down to, this area here that was around $108,000. And so it wasn't too hard for us to have a pretty solid month for September, because all it meant was ultimately closing above 1076. And that is what happened. We had a 5.16% gain in September. We're already off to a 4% gain in October. Obviously, we've got the whole rest of the month to wait for what's going to happen here. But things are looking off to a strong start for October. Really nice price action. And obviously, as we look at alts across the board here, we had a pretty good day for Solana, Ethereum. They were both up 5 and 6% respectively, with really nice green candles here. Solana trying to retest this downtrend the uptrend that it broke down from. We're coming back up to retest it. Ethereum around 43.68. I was doing some client sessions earlier, doodling on the chart here, but another really nice strong candle here from Ethereum. Ethereum coming back to retest that key weekly level that we broke out of here at the beginning of August, came back down, retested this line, bounced back up, and it looks like we're getting ready to move a little bit higher. So things are looking good. If we look at the futures, there is a CME gap on the Bitcoin chart here for the Bitcoin futures. If we zoom into the daily, you can see we've got a gap here that may need to fill around that $110,900 area. However, given the move that we've just made in the past day or two, we've closed above previous resistance. We've started moving higher, and we're around 118.6 as we speak. Things are looking good for Bitcoin in the short term to move a little bit higher. We still might need to come down to fill this gap at some point. It doesn't guarantee that it's going to get filled, but we may need to see a retrace to that area at some point for that gap to get filled. Other than that, things are looking good. We're off to a strong start for October. We're having a pretty good week for Bitcoin in general. Again, even just going back to Sunday of the previous week, we had essentially 8.65% gain since Sunday. It's only Wednesday at the time I'm recording this, and so things are looking very strong in the setup for the rest of the week, for the rest of the month, having broken above this level. Yes, we might need to come down to retest this before moving higher. That would not surprise me, very similar to what Ethereum just did on the weekly that we were looking at, but things looking strong. Alts across the board are getting strong. Bitcoin dominance moving sideways here pretty much for the past week. You could argue it's up a little bit, 58.3 to 58.9. Let's see what happens there. We might need to see Bitcoin leading the charge in terms of making a move towards 120, which is obviously going to help alts make bigger gains on a percentage basis from there. But with Bitcoin making that move, we might see a little bit of an increase here in Bitcoin dominance before it breaks down a little bit lower. I think there's plenty of room for it to come lower. Zooming out to the weekly, we can see that on a percentage basis, last cycle, we came all the way down to this 38, 39% level. We still have plenty of room for downside here if Bitcoin's going to do anything like that in this cycle. I don't think we're going to come all the way to 38, 39%, but even if we get into the mid 40s, that is still a substantial drawdown from here for Bitcoin dominance. And I think that will eventually happen once we have alts really getting a true altcoin season. That is it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the quick market update. If you like these types of videos, let me know. I want to try and make more videos that are a little bit more timely. There is an editing delay sometimes when I get videos from recording them to actually getting them live on the channel. So if you like this more kind of real-time market update that goes out within a few hours, maybe 8 to 12 hours after I record the video, let me know if you enjoy it. Drop a comment below the video to let me know if you like that type of timely and quick turnaround, and we'll gather the sentiment. Make sure to drop a thumbs up on the video. Right below my finger there is a thumbs up button. Take 3 seconds right now. Just smash the thumbs up button. Hit subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, grab your copy of The Rise of Bitcoin, and we'll catch you in the next one.